bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America.
We have in the United States 2,000 companies from the German automakers with around about 140,000 employees.
So 5 major international companies have shifted their investments from the United States, which was once considered, indispensable, to Canada. From Volkswagen's super electric vehicle factory in Ontario to Burger King's corporate headquarters seeking tax advantages, from Amazon's distribution revolution to Microsoft's artificial intelligence campus, and from Stellantis's battery line in Windsor, examples are multiplying. This is really casting doubt on the once unrivaled appeal of the United States. Rising tariffs, tightening immigration policies, uncertainty in permit processes, successive presidential decrees, and honestly the anxiety of what will change tomorrow have all begun to push companies away from the U.S. Ottawa, on the other hand, is offering the exact opposite: stable corporate tax rates, clean energy incentives, and fast-track visas for tech workers, effectively welcoming major companies to our country. So how will the U.S. respond to companies leaving the U.S. for Canada? We'll delve into the details of the latest global developments. Volkswagen, the German automotive giant, has shelved its production plans in California while planning the first steps of its e-mobility strategy outside Europe. With President Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on new cars and additional steel and aluminum tariffs on the table, Volkswagen's finance team repeatedly added the phrase non-static costs to its risk presentations. The decision, announced in early March, will see a $4.5 billion gigafactory rise in St. Thomas, Ontario, with cell technology coming from Germany and the supply chain utilizing Quebec lithium and nickel reserves near the North Pole to address range issues from the outset. The Canadian government's 15% investment credit, combined with its green electricity commitment, showed savings of tens of millions of dollars when compared to the union negotiations that were mandatory on the American side. And, well, the decision was sealed. Stellantis is actually a player born in Detroit's backyard. However, despite its historical ties to Chrysler, the decline in conventional motor vehicles has brought it back into focus. The company has agreed to add another 4 billion Canadian dollars to its flexible cell facility in Windsor, which it operates jointly with LG Energy Solution. The key motivation behind this move was, once again, the risk of a shock from customs tariffs. Renewed Made in America battery content rules in the U.S. have complicated the debate over what counts as domestic, while Ontario's critical mineral waiver has increased process security. In addition, regional unions quickly closed the table with a 5-year wage peace protocol. The UAW's 2 strikes in the U.S. were one of the most prominent examples of the consequences of this situation. Ultimately, Stellantis knows it won't have to pay extra taxes when it exports tons of cells to the U.S. That's because there are still loopholes in battery exports between Canada and the U.S., and the company is exploiting them to its advantage. In the technology arena, Amazon was the first to open the door. The Seattle-based giant quietly acquired a vast flat area just north of Calgary. The 460,000-meter distribution center includes a test platform for autonomous trucks, a drone hub, and the region's first fully electric truck park. While the Snohomish project in Washington state has been stalled by environmental objections and a 2-year permit delay, Alberta has granted year-round approval. Wind credits have been activated on the energy side, and a carbon tax exemption has become a gift that will boost Amazon's ESG ratings. Additionally, the foreign content reporting requirement that recently took effect in the United States exempts shipments originating in Canada, allowing the company to save time on customs declarations. This creates another type of overtime bonus for company employees. Microsoft, which has followed Amazon's lead, already had established software hubs in Vancouver and Toronto. However, its announced Northern Cloud Spine project has signaled a new call to action. The project document clearly states the goal of a sovereign cloud that will not be affected by any federal guidelines issued in Seattle. The infrastructure's data will not leave Canadian borders, and artificial intelligence models will be subject to Canadian courts. The company will spend $5 billion on this new backbone over 3 years. To prevent brain drain, it has also sponsored an accelerated work permit support program. When Ottawa's immigration office promised approval within 2 weeks for highly skilled software developers, the first wave of developers moving from Silicon Valley to Vancouver described the international transition as easy, fast, and cost-free on their LinkedIn profiles. This migration is fully aligned with the remote work model that has been in place since the pandemic and is likely to accelerate as the US H-1B visa lottery is canceled. In the fast service world, Burger King shifted its holding company headquarters to Europe a decade ago with its merger with Tim Hortons. However, its operational hub remained in Miami. Now, it too is shifting its focus to the Montreal-Longo corridor, announcing plans to build a $320 million product development laboratory and digital order training campus. Burger King management cited Montreal's university ecosystem as the biggest reason for the move, pointing to artificial intelligence-driven order prediction algorithms rather than low-value added jobs. While the state government is offering a 20% payroll tax credit, the New York office reported $12 million in relocation expenses during the same time frame. According to the CFO, such a disparity is a clear response to a specific equation. The key phrase is that plans are made if regulations are not arbitrary. So, examples from different sectors really shed light on the broader context of this wave effect. Bell Canada and TELUS's $45 billion artificial intelligence data center networks are launching domestic twin competition against foreign hosting giants. Meanwhile, SmartStop self-storage chain is closing its California operations after securing consecutive permits in Toronto. Canadian National Railway is strengthening New Brunswick's railways with an Atlantic-scale capacity move and plans to transfer from Halifax to Europe. This is, frankly, because customs tariff deadlocks on the southern route are complicating matters. Spanish Ferrovial is nearly doubling its stake in Toronto's 407 ETR toll road, declaring it has broken free from the political risk spiral in the U.S. highway market. And, well, they're all singing the same tune. Uncertainty is the enemy of capital. Looking at the bigger picture, Canada's Federal Department of Finance confirmed in late April that the trade deficit had risen above $7 billion. Analysts attribute this to redirected demand, not weakness. This is because the import portfolio still carries U.S. labels for parts, machinery, and electronics. However, export items are shifting back to European and Asian ports. Most new routes are Atlantic-bound from Halifax and St. John, and Pacific-bound from Prince Rupert. Meanwhile, on the U.S. side, the quarterly changes in additional tariffs on metal-intensive products are making it impossible for companies to plan ahead. One side is waiting for budget talks before passing a law, while the other is reversing course the next morning by presidential order. This is precisely the situation investors want to avoid. Ottawa, on the other hand, has shifted to a permanent incentive model, regardless of the scenario. It has introduced 3, 5, and 8-year predictable tax credits for electric vehicle battery cells, rare earth mineral processing, domestic artificial intelligence models, and clean energy storage. Additionally, it is committed to bringing in 10,000 highly skilled immigrants within 6 months through a talent fast assist technology visa program. As capital seeks a safe haven through location and people, Canada is not disrupting its regular subsidy schedule. This reduces the variance in CFO's forecast models. The benefit of this balanced policy is that every investment shifting north triggers a domino effect of new investments. So, how does this shift alter the long-term map of North American industry? First, the concept of the secondary market has been reversed. A major manufacturer can now first amortize costs in Canada and then add secondary capacity in Texas or Ohio. Second, port corridors have been revitalized. Direct shipping to Europe and Asia via Halifax or Vancouver avoids the customs and permit uncertainties associated with the Mexico-Chicago transit system. Third, while AI regulations constantly raise the question of where is the data authority, servers registered in Canada give the impression that commercial secrets are secure. Finally, regarding the labor force shift, a software engineer stuck in the visa backlog in Silicon Valley is securing residency in Toronto for the same salary. A mechanical engineer leaving Seattle is finding work in a battery lab in Windsor, and a logistics planner tired of Miami is designing drone routes in Calgary. When we look beyond the surface of trade wars, the picture is clear. High tariffs are eroding profit margins, while unpredictable licensing conditions are thickening the red lines on balance sheet stress test charts. In this environment, global executives are placing Canada at the forefront of the risk diversification lane, keeping Washington on hold for consideration in a second phase if conditions calm down. If the Trump administration fails to regain the gas brake synchronization in protectionism, the current list of 5 companies could spark an exodus from the U.S., followed by a much longer caravan of migrants. For this reason, Canada holds a major advantage over the U.S. with its stable decisions. However, Canada also has a weak point. This weak point is the uncertainty surrounding whether the Canadian economy is prepared for the new volume that will be added to its ports, railways, and energy transmission network. For now, however, the industrial compass has turned toward the icy north, and everyone is watching the speedometer closely. Will the wave of big companies moving there be temporary or permanent, or will the Trump administration lower the tariff shield and try to bring companies back? Or will Canada increase its tax credits and immigration packages and claim the title of new manufacturing capital? We will see clearly in the coming days. What are your thoughts on this matter? Please share your opinions in the comments section. To stay updated on new videos, please subscribe to our channel and enable notifications. Thank you for watching.